All right, we're about to do something really practical here. We're taking a super powerful motivational speech and breaking it down into an actual checklist, something you can use today to start building a truly unstoppable life. Think of this as your personal blueprint for success. So here's our game plan. First, we're going to build the pilot's checklist, your daily system for success. Then we'll talk about unlocking your gold mine, tapping into your best ideas. After that, it's all about the art of fierce focus. Then we'll cover protecting your time capital. And finally, we'll look at why it's so important to have your life recorded. Ready? Let's jump in. You know, this right here, this is the whole reason we're talking about this. This sets the stakes. It's not really about avoiding failure, is it? It's about avoiding regret. It's about making sure that when your life flashes before your eyes, you see a story that makes you proud. Okay, so how do we actually build a life like that? Well, it all starts with a system. Think about a pilot. Before every single takeoff, they go through a checklist, meticulously. Why? Because lives are on the line. They don't just rely on memory. We need that exact same discipline for starting and ending our own days. I mean, isn't your life worth that same level of care? Now, this is fascinating. Our time is basically split into two modes. There's thinking about the work, and then there's actually doing the work. And the source material points out something pretty staggering. A lot of us waste over 20% of our time just stuck in that first box. That's like losing a full day of work every single week, just to thinking and planning instead of doing. And this is the difference maker right here. Every leader, every innovator, every single top performer you can think of, they are masters of that second part. A great scientist gets lost in the experiment, not just in planning it. A great writer gets completely lost in the story, not in dreaming about royalties. They're masters of execution. They don't just dream it, they do it. Okay, so execution is key. Got it. But what exactly are we executing on? Well, that brings us right to our next section, unlocking your personal gold mine. We've got to find the raw material that's going to fuel all this success. You know, the first formula for a success is actually pretty simple when you think about it. Your income, your compensation in life, it's tied directly to the value you provide. The more problems you can solve, the more indispensable you become, and the higher your value goes. It's a beautifully simple equation. So, where does all this value come from? It comes from the single most powerful asset you will ever own, that 1,400-gram gold mine sitting right between your ears. And the gold in that mine? It's your ideas. Every single thing, from the wheels of the smartphone in your pocket, it all started as just one idea in someone's head. So what ideas are waiting in yours? This leads us to a daily habit that is so simple it's almost deceptive. To really mine that gold, all you have to do is come up with 5 new ideas every single day. That's it. Just 5. They don't have to be earth-shattering. The point is to build that idea-generating muscle. Now check out the math on this because this is where it gets crazy. 5 ideas a day sounds small, right? But it compounds. That's 35 ideas a week, 150 ideas a month. Over a year, that's more than 1,800 ideas. Think about it. If you take 1,800 shots at a target, what's the probability that you're going to hit it at least once? It's practically guaranteed. So, having amazing ideas is one half of the equation, but actually bringing them to life, that requires a totally different skill. And this is where we need to master the art of fierce, deliberate focus. The source material lays out 3 core principles here. These are the rules that really separate the true professionals from the amateurs when it comes to focus. Okay, the first rule is so simple, but it's a game changer. When you are working, just work. Be 100% there. When you're with your family, just be with your family. When you're playing a sport, just play. Your work colleagues don't need to know about your personal life, and your family doesn't need you checking work emails. Be fully present wherever you are. Full stop. And the second principle, this one is absolutely crucial. Your work is the engine that powers your entire life. It's not about being a workaholic. It's about having deep respect for the thing that allows you to do everything else. All the fun, all the family time, it's funded by the focus you bring to your work. So you can never, ever joke around with your work. So once you have a system for creating value and the focus to execute on it, there's one last critical piece of the puzzle, protecting the resource that makes it all happen. Let's talk about your time. I love this metaphor. Think about your time not as minutes ticking by, but as actual capital in a bank account. It's your most valuable asset. And here's the kicker, it's non-renewable. You are the CEO of your own life, and time is your greatest investment. The question is, are you protecting it like one? So, how do we actually guard this capital? Well, first, you have to master the incredibly powerful word no. Every time you say yes to something unimportant, you're saying no to something that actually matters. Second, you have to control your devices. They should work for you, not the other way around. And third, use a pen and paper to think. It helps clarify everything and make sure you're building on yesterday's progress. You know, when you protect your time, you're not just being more productive. You're creating the space to build a life that's worth remembering. And that brings us to our final section, your life recorded. Because it's not just about living a great life. It's about capturing it to create a legacy. What this is really saying is you need to become the historian of your own life. Record everything. The business ideas, the family vacations, the tough times, the good times, the big lessons you learn. It only takes a second to snap a few photos or a quick video, but over the years, you build this incredible data bank of your journey. Can you imagine looking back on that in 20, 30, or 50 years? What an amazing gift to give your future self. And this quote just nails it, doesn't it? Time is the one thing money can never, ever buy back. You can't buy yesterday, but you can preserve it. You can capture the feeling, the lesson, the memory, and in a way that's kind of like a superpower. Seriously, think about it. Over the years, that collection, all those photos and videos, maybe 200 or 300 gigabytes of data, it becomes your unique story. It's a legacy that is filled with your life, your lessons, your love. And it is absolutely priceless. No amount of money in the world could ever buy that from you. It's yours. So I'll leave you with this question. Every single day, your life is being recorded. Every choice you make, every action you take, it's a new scene in the movie of your life. And you have to ask yourself, when the credits roll, what story will it tell? Go make it a story worth watching.